What's up guys, my name is Luke from Archer & Wood Style Consultancy and Pre-Owned Menswear Store. It's Monday mailbag time where I answer your style questions or questions about anything at all really, from either Instagram DMs, YouTube comments or any of the social platforms. If you do have any questions for future videos, put them in a comment to this video is probably the best way. You can also DM me on Instagram. But yeah, before we continue guys, please remember to like and subscribe because it really helps me to grow the channel and make more videos. If you're interested in pre-owned menswear, do check out archerwoods.com. We've got some really great new pieces coming in store this week from a couple of little Our Legacy pieces. That suede chore jacket behind me. This shirt as well is in there. So this is an Oliver Spencer seersucker shirt. So this is in store currently. It's a really lovely shirt, especially for this time of year. So if you have any questions about that, it's hello@archerwoods.com. So yeah, let's get into the questions. First one is a comment left on Instagram about high-waisted jeans. Love jeans and loafers. Can you do a video to where to get the jeans from? The good news is a load of brands are now starting to do these. In the last year or so, the majority of brands, high and low, have started to realize that men do want a higher waist. And this has mostly come from guys wearing vintage jeans like vintage Levi's or Wranglers. That's where I'd start really. Vintage Levi's. Obviously, it does get a little bit confusing with the amount of different numbers they have and different lines. 501s are the traditional ones, so with a bit of a high rise to them, and they are now doing a modern version, which is a 501/93, which is a vintage style version of the 501 with that higher rise to the waist. Wrangler do a cowboy cut, which is great, so it's got like a nice high waist to it and a straight leg. So they're definitely two I'd check out, and they're pretty affordable as well. If you were spending a little bit more money, Anglo-Italian do a really lovely pair of jeans. I'm actually wearing some right now, which have a lovely high rise to them. Drake's are doing some as well, and pretty much any one of those brands now are doing high-rise jeans. So you can now pick them up from a lot of places. But if you're on a budget, I would definitely say go vintage or hit the Levi's or Wranglers sort of realm. So it's on this point that we'll go to our next comment, which I felt I should reply to. So I did a video about wearing higher waisted jeans with a blazer and put forward some images, some reference images and what I thought looked good. So I got a comment saying, lol, it's literally the easiest thing to do, which for this guy, I don't know him, who am I to say it might be the most natural thing in the world? But for me, I would disagree. I did a little shorts video about this, but I thought it'd be worth going into a little bit more detail. If we look at these reference images here, so we've got Andreas Weines on the right and a guy on the left. And for me, one looks significantly better than the other, and that's the one on the right. And someone could say, okay, he's wearing a blazer and jeans, what's the difference? But for me, it's all about the details that make this full thing work. Because you could easily look like a Top Gear presenter if you get it wrong. So if we look at the difference here, you've got, first of all, the thing is the rise of the jeans. So the waistline on Andreas on the right is much higher and just looks so much better for the overall silhouette and proportions of the outfit. You've got the jeans on the left-hand side. For me, on the skinny side, you can actually see that they're like elasticated jeans as well. They're overly skinny and they're also too long. So there's a bunching of fabric down by the shoes. And the shoes are the next point. Like for me, the loafers look a lot better. There's also a nicer contrast between the colours, between the darker loafers rather than the sort of like lighter suede shoes compared to the denim on the left side. Then you've got the blazer itself. It's nice softer shoulder and big lapels, which in terms of proportions works much better than the slimmer lapels on the left. You don't have to have an unstructured jacket to wear the jeans, but I do think it makes it easier to do that, just because it adds that extra little bit of informality. Also, the length of the jacket is much better on the right as well. It's a longer jacket, sits under the seat, and the guy on the left, it's just a bit too short. They're the things immediately that jump out from this image. There's more things as well, colours, and also wearing like a sport coat rather than a blazer. There's a few things which are more guidelines than rules, I would say, but they're the ultimate. They're the main things, and they're the important things that really make a big difference in terms of just the overall look and aesthetic of wearing a blazer with jeans, rather than just throwing those two pieces on and just saying that it works. That's my opinion anyway. If anyone's got any contrasting views, do drop them in the comments. This does go for a lot of outfits. When sometimes you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, just why isn't this working? Often it's just tweaking little details. And in menswear, it does seem to be the same sort of stuff. The rise of the waist, the slimness of the jacket, the shoulder structure. There's all these things that go into making the outfit as a whole. And sometimes one thing that's off can throw off. So this brings us to our last question of the day. So this is a chat I was having with a guy on Instagram where he initially sent me over a link to a Ralph Lauren purple label blazer, and it was on eBay for like 700, I think it was like Aussie dollars. That's I think it's like £400 or £500. And he asked me my opinions, if it was worth it, and like just in general my opinions on it. And I had a look at it, and I'll put a photo of it up now. And I just gave my honest opinions that I just felt like, oh, it's a little bit of an old-fashioned style, just because of the structure of it, the lapels. It just didn't feel like something I would pull the trigger on for that amount of money. And he kind of like agreed. I think he said it was like from 2017. I just felt with regards to like the lapels and everything else, it just felt like a bit of an old-fashioned cut. And I think this is a really good point, because I think a lot of guys will, and I've fallen down this trap many a times, is buying the label rather than the actual piece in front of you. So almost every brand, every brand has gone through an evolution of style. And even if it's menswear and classic menswear we're looking at, they've all come from a different sort of place. Like, we like to think in our heads that, oh, classic menswear doesn't change, a suit's a suit. All this menswear we're wearing now, it looks back at its past and they use the same techniques and all this sort of stuff. It's not really it is the case and it isn't the case. It's not completely true. If you look back at the hashtag menswear days, suits were thin lapels. There'd be a relatively like boxy kind of like padded shoulder cut to them. And I've seen old Drake's blazers and things like that, and they're very different to what they are today. Thank God we've actually got to a point where we're actually really are looking back, and most of the brands are looking back at more classic designs and real traditional ways of tailoring, and that's a real good thing. But not every brand was like that for the last 10-15 years or so. So when you do look at an item, if it's pre-owned, have a look what's actually in front of you rather than the label itself. We can all get excited about a Ralph Lauren purple blazer for a really low cut price, but if the blazer's not something that's actually going to look that good and it's not something you're going to wear, it's not really worth having. But again, if you like it, go for it. I just put my personal point of view across. So that was just my thoughts. And again, I've fallen down that trap many a times, just because if you just get excited about something, you can be like a fan of a brand and just ultimately just want to have that piece. And that's definitely something I've done. So anyway, later on, he sent me another link to a blazer from Trunk. And I think it was just a question about that. I think it was like £700. And then his question was, by that price point, should I be looking for ready-to-wear versus a reputable tailor? It's a good question, and one that I don't think there's a right and wrong answer for, because I think it's a very personal thing. The way I can only really answer it in the way I look at things, because people buy stuff in very different ways. People's way of thinking is different, and we're just different people. The way I would do it is to just ask myself some questions. What am I looking for? So am I looking for a piece say I was looking for a soft-shouldered grey flannel suit, and I love the way Anglo-Italian do it, or I love the way Drake's do it. I'll probably think about buying it from them rather than going to a tailor that can make it in their style. I'd rather buy the thing that caught my attention in the first place. This works on the other way around as well. So I'm really a big fan of J. Muser, the tailor. I've never had a suit made by them, and I would like in future. I would absolutely love to. So if I had the money to do it, that's the way I'll go. So you buy the tailor or you buy the item. I think that's kind of where I'm going with it. So yeah, just having your head a bit of a clear goal of what you're looking for, why you're looking for it, what you like about the item, and then you can make your decisions from there. That goes for items of clothes, that goes for everything. So yeah, having a clear idea, especially when you're spending that amount of money, is a really good thing. But if you like the way a brand does something, go for that brand. If you really like the tailor, go for the tailor. That's probably the best way to look for it. But anyway, guys, that was the mailbag for the week. Thank you very much for sending in comments and questions. I still got a load that I'll need to get through. But please do keep sending them in. Leave a comment on this video, and hopefully I can get round to it soon. Please remember to like and subscribe, because it helps me to make more videos. I think the last couple of weeks I've made one almost every day of the week. So yeah, if you can like and subscribe, it really helps me to continue to make them. Do check out archandwoods.com for pre-owned menswear. And if you're interested in the style consultancy service I offer, so anything from like an hour-long session to a full wardrobe overhaul. I'm also considering doing like a half-hour session. Let me know if you'd be interested in that, and anyone would consider taking that up, because I get a lot of questions, and I've had a few people comment say they'd love to do the consultancy service, but they can't afford it. Would a half-hour appointment be appealing to anyone. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Cheers.